Dave, just go back to the game in Vienna. Obviously, not the result we wanted, but personally, a milestone. 11 European goals. Took you level with Glen, Crowe, and there's a couple of star-studded names just above you. I think you're level with Liam Brady now as well, which is some achievement. But I suppose we'll just go back through them. Do you remember your first one a long time ago now?
That was a weird one away in Kazakhstan. I think I was the first Irish person to score in Kazakhstan, because I remember Ireland went to play them a couple of months later, and well, someone else did score, thankfully. But yeah, came on for St. Pat's that night, and I think we might have been 1-0 down, and got an equaliser over there. So it's an important away goal, obviously, in Europe when it's a two-legged affair. So yeah, that was a good goal in a strange sort of scenario over there.
Yeah, I was reading this morning, 18-hour trek to get there. I think it was. I was actually reading a quote from Pete Mann. He said it'd be a miracle if we pulled this off because of the arduous journey he's had. Yeah,
it was a really weird one because we went on domestic flights. We stopped in London and lads had to run off the kit man. I think Stephen Bradley was involved. Had to go off and get our visas in the embassy in London, and just about made it back for our second flight. And then we ended up staying 3 hours from the ground because the team previous, apparently they had been given out about food poisoning and things when they stayed near the stadium. So it was just one of those bizarre trips where everything is sort of not perfect, but you just go out and try and perform on the pitch, and thankfully that was a good result for us on that night and we got through that round.
Yeah, and I think people had seen the footage. Evan, your brother, was standing right behind you. I'm sure I put it in the piece, if you hadn't scored, I'm sure he would have.
Yeah, probably would have. I think if I'd missed, he'd certainly have let me know anyway, but it was a good occasion, obviously, to play that season with Evan, and as I said, we got through that round. I think we got through 2 rounds that year and had a good run, so I suppose that was the start of the European Games for me.
Yeah. Next one, BATE away, 2015. We lost the game 2-1, but looking back, it was probably one of the best performances this club's ever put up in a European game. We were brilliant that night over in Borisov.
Yeah, I think from remembering correctly, I think I missed a good chance in that game a bit earlier in it, and the way the goal came about was, I think, just a sort of lucky ricochet, and fell to me nicely one-on-one with the keeper, and I think I maybe put it through his legs, and there was a small crowd of Dundalk fans, I remember, in the corner running over to celebrate with them, and no, we did. We performed a lot better, I think, that year than the following year when we actually went through the round, and obviously in that year we brought them back here to Oriel, and it was a 0-0, and they ground it out really, and showed what a good side they were that night. Limited us to so few chances, but we were obviously disappointed. But I think it gave us the hunger for what was to come the following year. I
was going to say that game, even though we were beaten, that game gives you the sort of belief that. And I remember in the stadium, it was a fantastic stadium, and it was nearly like this is the stage this team was meant to play on.
Yeah, I think it was. BATE are sort of a club, I suppose, that we would have seen ourselves to kind of be, to follow their lead. They had an amazing stadium. They dominated their own league and had a lot of the top players, and I think they have done for the past number of years, and I suppose we looked at that in envy and wanted to sort of replicate what they had done, and they'd been in the Champions League group stages a lot of times and had some really, really good results, particularly at home. So we went there and competed so well, it showed that we were up for it, and we were at that level.
We all remember the goals against BATE and Tala, but there was three before that. FH, home and away, you scored here in Oriel, and 2 over in Iceland. The game here in Oriel, you were coming off the back. I think it was 2 successive hat-tricks in that, and I wrote this in the piece as well. You could see it in your finish. It was a brilliant finish. It was a brilliant goal. Gano, I remember, said Patrick McElhenney then the right first time cross. It was a brilliant goal.
Yeah, that was a strange time. I think we'd been away in Spain, and I think Kieran Kilduff was going to start the games when we came back from that. I think we'd lost to Cork maybe before we left, and myself and Stephen had a good discussion about things that I needed to work on, and it looked like Kieran was going to get the chance to play, and did play here, I think, against St. Pat's, and scored when we came back from the mid-season break, and looked like he was going to be the one in the team. And he was really unfortunate. He picked up an illness, so you think he just missed a trip to Derry out of a flu or something, and luckily I stepped in, and as you said, got back-to-back hat-tricks leading into the European Games, and it's just fortunate. Football's funny. I should have probably been on the bench for those games, and including the European Games, because Kieran, as I said, Kieran had done well. So it's pure luck, and I suppose when you get that bit of luck, you want to take advantage of it, and thankfully I was able to do that. But yeah, the goal here was a really, really good one. A great ball from Patrick, and a good side-footed finish for myself. And I think we were really disappointed to actually end up drawing that game, from what I remember, because we had them, I think, and we were the better side here. And when we went over there, they started really, really well, and I thought this is going to be a tough game, and we just ground it out in the end. I think we missed a penalty on the night as well, but My first goal was probably a little bit fortunate. The keeper did me a few favours.
You mentioned luck.
Yeah, more luck. And but no, it was a great night that night, because it meant a lot to get through that first round.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's people look back sort of with rose tinted glasses. Like we had to dig that one out. Like that went all the way. I remember, I think it was Paddy Barrett cleared one off the line in the dying seconds. It was a tense night. Yeah,
they just started really, really well, and we went one down, and I thought this is going to be tough. I think Stephen made a change at half time. It was Robbie Benson maybe came on, but we turned around well. You know, we missed a penalty, we created chances. Obviously a bit of slice of luck with my first goal, but a great goal the second one, I think it was, with Dane and Darryl down the left, and a good cut back for me. And yeah, I think I came off with maybe 15 minutes to go, and it was not nice. You know, at least when you're on the pitch, you don't have time to think about sort of all the situations that could end up, and when you're on the bench, it's a hard place to be watching the last little bit of the game, but thankfully we held out.
Dane and Darryl, you mentioned them there, to set up the goals in Tala. Obviously it's probably, I think most supporters will remember that night as the greatest ever night. But what can you remember about the first? I remember Darryl sort of checked. Were you thinking you knew he was going to deliver the ball?
Yeah, I think when Darryl cut back like that, you just knew he was going to whip in a ball and usually head towards the back post. So, yeah, I was just fortunate. It lands on my head, and I was sort of reaching for it a little bit, but that worked in my favour, that I was just able to get a good glance and put it in the far corner. And I don't think the keeper really had any chance. It nearly came in off the post, so it was just a great ball in from Darryl, and I think that gave everybody a bit of belief that, you know what, we could do this here. Particularly, as I said earlier, we came off what was a really poor performance the week before in Borisov, but I think we went into the game with a lot of belief. We knew their away record was really, really poor. They haven't won on the road in a long time, and that goal again just cemented that belief, I think. And the second half, I thought we performed really, really well.
The second one, strikers love them sort of goals. Dane Massey comes to the back post. I think he says across. I think he meant to shoot, but it fell perfectly for you, just in the 6-yard box.
Yeah, I think he's still claiming it's a cross. But no, it was just I think the ball had crossed in from the right. Maybe Patrick had sort of overhit it, and Dane, as he did, gallivanting in at the back post, and went to smash one across. I think it's a cross shot, to be fair. Just put it back in there, and I've just reacted well and able to get my head on it and put it in the back of the net. And it probably obviously that put us ahead in the tie, but you know, if you concede, you're still going to go out, and we're going to lose on away goals. So when I watch back those clips, I think it's Robbie Benson's goal, not my own, that just bring the biggest smile to my face, because that was the moment I think we all realised, right, game over, we've done it here. And you know, in the absolute lashings of rain, and Robbie going onto his right foot and scoring, and I think that just major celebrations from there. It
was incredible, because for so long you were the top scorer in the Champions League for that season.
Yeah, people kept sort of sending me those sort of things. I suppose I took it with a pinch of salt. You know, it's not quite the group stages where the big boys are performing, but no, it was a nice feeling, obviously, to go on such a run and to time it so well was brilliant. Yeah,
the one the year after against Rosenberg, another brilliant striker's goal. Just that bit of instinct. It was Mickey Duffy had a shot, and he just got the glance to it.
Yeah, Mickey doing what he does, kind of cutting inside, and again probably a shot as much as anything, and I've just nicked my head on it and you know, put the goalkeeper off. He's thinking he's going to his left to make a save, and it's cut across him into the other corner. And again, that was another really tough game, particularly the away leg. I remember Brian scoring to put us ahead. I think I had a header that goalkeeper makes a brilliant save, and we're nearly 2-0 up away from home, and you're thinking, you know, we've got this, but unfortunately it wasn't to be that night. And it was great disappointment that night, because we knew you know, how much we'd enjoyed the year before, and how much we felt we could get by them. But I think Rosenberg showed what a good team they were. I think they went on, and if it was that year or not the next year, they knocked Ajax out, like who'd been against Man United in the final only a couple of months earlier. So it shows what a good side we were up against and how well we were competing.
Was that up until this year, qualifying for the group stages, would that have been one you would have always looked back on, that tie, that Rosenberg tie, because it was there for the taking that year?
Yeah, I think so. I think as I said, there was just, particularly the way it was then, that if you didn't win that first game, you were out of everything. You know, now we've obviously, this year we've lost our first game and we've gone into the Europa League, so it gives you a little bit of a fallback. That year you lost that first round, you were out of everything, and I think that was the killer blow. As I said, getting through the FH game meant we knew we had, you know, 2 bites at the cherry, you know, so it was a great relief. But against Rosenberg it was just huge disappointment, because we knew we were out of everything. Yeah.
At the end of that year when you left, did you think you'd be back scoring European goals for Dundalk? Probably not.
Probably not, to be honest. It's been a strange journey, I suppose. But you know, coming back this year, I think it's fair to say things haven't in many regards gone as I would have liked, or anybody would have liked, both for myself personally and for the club, in terms of our league form. Europe has maybe given us a bit of a cover in terms of it's brilliant to have qualified. It's probably a pity that the fans can't be along to all the games. I mean, it would have been amazing to have everybody over at the Emirates, you know, with the family, fans, everything. But for us as players, it doesn't take the shine off what's been a brilliant experience. And I don't think I could have imagined being in this position again and scoring goals away in Vienna and things like that. But no, it's an amazing experience.
Yeah, in terms of importance, the one in Andorra is probably up there with the ones in FH and games of that, because it was, you know, it was obviously the only goal of the game, and it got us through to the game with Sheriff.
Yeah, I think it's probably the only time we'll have gone away in Europe and been favoured. So as someone said, that maybe puts a little bit more pressure on you. But yeah, I think we should have won that game more comfortably. I probably feel myself I should have had at least another goal in the game, and there were other opportunities in the team to put that game to bed. And it was an odd one. I mean, to get Andy sent off in the circumstances that we did was ridiculous and made it a little bit more difficult for us. But I think we felt we were comfortable throughout the game, and yeah, it was nice to be back amongst the goals in Europe for sure. Yeah,
2 in Vienna, 2 penalties. Obviously, consolation. It was so disappointing not to take anything out of that, especially when you scored the first one.
Yeah, I think I looked at the clock after, it was 81 or 82 minutes that we'd gone to 2-2, and it's been such a good performance from the lads. Obviously, I was only on maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but it'd been a really good performance. I thought we'd stuck to our game plan. We'd you know, continued to try and play as best we could, even when we were under pressure. And you know, I think we deserved to go level in the game. We started to really come into it in the second half, and we were creating chances. And to concede the way we did was just so disappointing. You know, we wanted to get off the mark and get some points and put ourselves in a good position with the last 3 games to go. But look, it wasn't to be. But it gives us confidence going into the rest of the group games that we can get something and do ourselves proud.
Yeah, you say we've 3 group games left. The Keanes, Robbie and Roy, are they still in their sights? You've got 3 games to get there.
I have to be honest. Somebody had said it to me long before the Vienna game about sort of the number of goals, and it hadn't crossed my mind at all until I came off and looked at my phone, and people were saying, "Oh, you're equal with Glen, Crowe and stuff like that," which is great. But no, just focus on the next couple of games and try to do the best we can. I won't be trying to set any records. If they happen, great, but yeah, if there's another penalty or 2 to be taken, I'm sure I'll be putting my hand up. But no, look, it's, as I said, the main focus for the whole team is to try and get some points on the board, and that's the most important thing.
What's your favourite of them all?
I think probably the first goal against BATE, just because I feel it was a huge goal for us. I think it was near half time in that game, and just gave us a huge lift. I think we were performing well, but as it said, you need to score when you're doing well, and we did that, and I think that sort of set us on the way to go and win that game the way we did.